Have you ever gone to watch a movie and the genre that it says it's going to be, it isn't? I don't know about you, but I've always been under the impression that when you go to watch a movie and that movie has taken the liberty to call itself a comedy, then that film should, by definition, be funny. I don't think that's too much to ask for. Do you? Now, of course, comedy is quite subjective, so what one person finds funny, someone else may not find funny at all. That being said, I think there's a difference between a joke missing its mark and me not finding it enjoyable, and it simply not existing in the first place. And that brings me to How to Make a Killing. How to Make a Killing is a film that follows the estranged grandson of the dynasty-level Redfellow family as he makes his way through his unknown to him relatives to claim the lion's share of his grandfather's fortune. The film starts off with Glenn Powell's character Beckett Redfellow as he awaits his execution. Beckett goes through this series of events that led to this moment as he details those moments to the priest he called to his cell. It happens that after his mother decided to have her baby against her father's wishes, she was estranged from the family, although her right to the inheritance remained. She passed away at a young age, leaving Beckett Redfellow to fend for himself in the foster care system. This resulted in a powerful hatred he developed for his family and a longing to reclaim what he thought was his due. It's an interesting enough premise, with the MacGuffin of the overwhelming wealth pushing Beckett to stray from the moral path his mother had taken earlier in the film by choosing to have her child rather than retain her wealth. Throughout the film, you see the premeditated endings to Beckett's family one by one, without him seemingly having any second thoughts. It was more than a little bit unnerving to watch. It felt as though I had stumbled across the confessions of a character you'd see on a show like Criminal Minds or something. That confused me. It wasn't in line with what the film claimed to be. In fact, what the film claimed to be was really nowhere in sight. Apart from a couple odd giggles, the rest of the film played out more like a cautionary tale than a comedy or a thriller, both of which it has listed on IMDb. Not only that, but the way in which it tackled what happens in the film was a bit unsettling, as I mentioned before, but I didn't know why until my coworker told me that it was an A24 film. Now that makes sense, because the little that I've seen of A24 films, they have a warped philosophy. They seem to adhere to a philosophy called nihilism, which is very evident in films like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which literally spelled it out. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what nihilism is, it's basically the philosophy that nothing really matters and that life has no meaning, so whatever you want to do doesn't matter. It's a really empty and sad way of looking at the world, and when it infiltrates something like a film, it makes the film feel bogged down, and in the case of How to Make a Killing, it makes it feel eerie. Beckett's character, without any real moral qualms, takes a leap into a new life with no return. He's so nonchalant with it all, I found it rather upsetting seeing it all unfold. And at the end of the film, when he nearly gets executed, his fiancée leaves him, his family is all gone, and his fortune is given to his psychopath ex-crush, he's unfazed. Now, I mentioned IMDb said it was a comedy and thriller. I think it also said drama. But when I clicked on Amazon Prime to watch the film, it said comedy. So that's what I was expecting. To be expecting a comedy and then be met with a nihilistic murder fest was not a great turnaround, to say the least, especially after a long day of work in the sun. Now, maybe someone else will find it much more enjoyable than I did. I don't know. Perhaps a good way of looking at it is as a cautionary tale, where love of money only ends in poverty of wallet and soul. That wouldn't be too bad if it was what they were going for, but again, who knows? I'd probably put this film in my bucket of films I won't be watching again, along with the atrocious Marty Supreme, which gave me a bad taste for Timothée Chalamet as an actor, which is impressive because up until that point, I'd liked him in pretty much everything I'd seen. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. If you've seen the film, comment below your thoughts and takes. I'd love to hear those down below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe for more film-related content, share the video with your loved ones, and I will see you next week.